All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer, where we're looking at something truly unique in the engineering landscape today. We're going to unpack the DNA of a company that isn't just looking to fill seats, they are looking for elite technical talent. I'm talking directly to the ambitious metallurgists, the NDT specialists, the corrosion and welding engineers, the chemists, and the civil and structural engineers out there who are hungry for real, visible impact. Today, we're exploring the visionary culture over at TCR Engineering Services. If you're an engineer looking to finally step away from the status quo and into an arena where your skills genuinely matter, well, you're going to want to pay close attention to this. So right off the bat, we start with this incredibly powerful philosophy. And look, this isn't some generic corporate jargon. This is literally the opening of TCR's HR and Culture Manual, written personally by their president, Rohit Bafna. Think about that for a second. We certify the integrity of the world around us. TCR is a laboratory that does deeply technical work, and they make one simple, unyielding promise. They tell the technical truth about the materials that hold up our refineries, our aircraft, bridges, pipelines, and power plants. They absolutely will not compromise that truth for any client, for any reason, ever. This simple, quiet promise is exactly what holds up the world's most critical infrastructure. And this commitment to the truth, it's not some trendy new startup manifesto. 53, that is 53 years of continuous independent operation since 1973. They are actually India's oldest third-party inspection company. They've watched the entire Indian engineering services landscape change 5 times over. And you know what they've learned? What keeps a laboratory standing through that much change isn't just a clever business model. It's a coherent set of values held by every single person on the team. It's an absolutely unmatched legacy of trust. Act 2, what you will actually do. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it throws the typical boring org chart right out the window. We're getting straight into the visceral, high-stakes nature of this frontier engineering work. Just imagine the physical thrill of this job for a second. You aren't just sitting behind a desk. You might literally be out there in the field, sending a radiographic crawler deep inside a live cross-country pipeline to certify its integrity. We're talking about the sheer, massive scale of inspecting over 14,000 girth welds across 160-plus kilometers of cross-country mainline. Or, you might be running phased array ultrasonics across a massive pressure vessel. This is hands-on, high-consequence technical execution. Or picture this immense technical challenge, and this is wild, lifting an in-situ metallographic replica off a running plant without even shutting it down. I mean, that is high-wire engineering. You're out there cracking failure investigations that read like forensic detective work. And you're not doing it blind either. You get to draw upon this massive proprietary archive of over 100,000 replicated microstructures and more than 9,000 past failure investigations. You are literally calculating the remaining life and fitness for service of critical assets that an entire nation depends on. And look who you're executing this for: the world's most demanding clients. You aren't working on trivial side projects here. You're mastering massive verticals like oil and gas, power generation, including nuclear, aerospace, and infrastructure. You're trusted to certify the assets of operators on the scale of Saudi Aramco, ONGC, Shell, NPCIL, Reliance, L&T, and Tata Power. To put that into perspective, when you sit at the bench at TCR and you sign your name on that final report, your signature ultimately decides whether these mammoth plants run or stop. The responsibility is absolute. Moving right along to Act 3, a culture that is rare. You see, high stakes and mammoth clients are only half the story here. The other half is an operational environment where the truth genuinely outranks the title. You know how traditional corporate hierarchies work, right? The highest title is automatically assumed to be the right voice. Well, TCR completely flips that script with a strict no sir, no madam policy. Everyone uses first names. The president is Rohit. The HR manager is Atul. Why? Because it's a technical necessity. In an NABL-accredited lab, a junior technician absolutely must feel empowered to look a senior engineer in the eye and tell them directly if the data has drifted. In a stifling sir and madam culture, people hesitate to speak up, and that is exactly how critical reports go wrong. At TCR, a junior engineer's data will always override a senior's rank. The truth outranks the title, plain and simple. And because they rely so heavily on your technical truth, they actually put their money where their mouth is to build up your capability. Ambitious engineers always complain they can't find real, visible career growth. Well, TCR solves this through serious, structured financial investment in its people. They sponsor world-class certifications, AS&T Level 3, API Inspector, NACE or AMP, NABL assessor. These aren't just fancy letters. They are the highly respected gold standards of the engineering industry. TCR doesn't see employees as disposable resources. They see you as the people who carry their 53-year reputation. So your growth is earned purely on merit, not on favor. Act 4. The Global Passports. Let's move to this and see how it builds into what is literally the ultimate career multiplier. 7. That's the number of countries where TCR currently operates. This means world-class training in India isn't just about domestic work. It literally acts as an international passport. Think about it. Once you're certified and proven, you unlock international deployment. You can step right into high-value placements across Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, the UAE, Oman, and Bahrain. For an ambitious engineer, international mobility and accelerated growth are things people chase abroad but rarely actually achieve. At TCR, this footprint isn't a distant, unattainable perk. It's a built-in career ladder. It's an opportunity you earn through sheer technical skill. And finally, Act 5, Nation Building. Let's widen the lens a bit to see the bigger picture and how elevating India's engineering talent to global renown is quite literally an act of nation building. TCR has this incredibly bold vision. They want to make India's metallurgists, corrosion scientists, welding engineers, and NDT specialists just as globally renowned and respected as India's IT engineers became. When you are out there certifying the integrity of the pipelines, the refineries, the power plants, and the bridges that a nation runs on, you aren't just clocking into a job. You are mastering disciplines that keep people safe and keep economies moving. It's a profound legacy to be a part of. But through all of this high-stakes frontier engineering and massive global reach, they never lose sight of the human element. Bringing it right back to the president's HR forward, we see this deeply authentic note. We carry careers here. We carry each other. It's warm, it's exacting, and it's a lived identity. They expect absolute excellence, sure, but they support you relentlessly to help you achieve it. So, if you are that top-tier talent, if you want those world-class skills that travel, the visible career growth, and a rare culture where truth holds rank, consider this your invitation. It's time to step away from the status quo. To begin the journey, reach out directly to Atul Yadav, the head of operations, or Samir Chowdhury, the general manager of TCR Eastern. The doors are wide open for those ready to step into the arena. Transparency, competence, reliability. That is exactly what TCR stands for. As you consider those three words, I want to leave you with one final thought to ask yourself today. When that multi-million-dollar plant goes live and the safety of thousands relies entirely on the technical truth of the inspection, isn't that exactly where you want your name on the report?